lesson.
I hope so.
Um, I do have a question. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I've heard that in Germany, when people get engaged, the women wear their rings on the left hand, and then when they're married, you wear the ring on the right. Is that correct?
A lot of people say that, but I think in Germany there are no rules for that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think so, no, because a lot of people wear it on the right side, and it doesn't matter what is it. It is a marriage ring, or yeah. No, I don't think it is
Mm-hmm.
a strict rule in Germany. How was it in America?
Uh, Traditionally, we wear the rings on our left finger.
Oh,
Compared to,
okay.
yeah. So now in Russia, traditionally the right hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think in Germany it is, yeah, everybody. I think, I'm not sure. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that there are a rule for it, no. But I think it doesn't matter because for me, if it would be at the left side, I would wear it on the right side because for me it's just, how can I say it? Easily. I don't like it on my left side, on my left hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for answering my question. I don't know many Germans, so not many people to ask. Um, Hello, Anastasia. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine, thank you.
Hi.
Did you dye
Hello.
your hair?
What?
Did you dye your hair? Change
Uh,
the color.
ah, it's beautiful, yes?
Yeah, it looks nice.
Он спросил, покрасила волосы.
Hmm.
Волосы? My hair? No, no,
No,
no, the same color.
maybe just different lights. It looks more blonde.
No, I think it is light.
Hmm.
It's not dark now. I think so.
It is
Yeah.
your natural color, Anastasia?
Yes, of course.
Oh, your
Of
irony.
course.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
No
maybe I don't
problem.
know. So many women has it. I don't know. Maybe
My natural color different, yes.
Hmm.
More dark.
brown.
Blonde, no, yes. Blonde, but dark than now.
Okay.
Sometimes we call that color dirty blonde.
There. Oh.
Yeah. I'll write that in the chat. Yeah. Dirty blonde is one. When people have hair color that's kind of between red and brown, um, often they call that auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other kind of standard colors would just be red, blonde, brown, black.
Oh,
Uh,
I saw your picture from the wedding.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah.
and where is pictures?
On
Uh,
Facebook.
yeah. There's a
On Facebook.
few on Facebook. We don't have many pictures yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we have about 10 pictures right now. Um,
It's interesting.
yeah.
You have a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
No, you have
I'll
your beautiful wife. No,
yeah.
sorry.
I'll let her know. I think she'll appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Anastasia, how have you been since 2 weeks ago?
I'm good. Oh, my mind, all my mind in the work,
Hmm.
because in these 2 weeks I got even more work because the season for landscape design um, has begun.
Has begun. Yeah.
Yes, and yes, in this moment I have two jobs.
Mhm.
Yes, and
Do you mostly design private gardens or like for companies?
no, only private, only
Okay.
private. Mm-hmm.
How
Mostly in Moscow or around Moscow?
Around Moscow,
hmm
not far from Moscow. Yes.
I'm
how
wondering
was your
where. Uh,
how was your
uh,
dog, Nastya?
My dog, we continue our therapy for another 3 months.
mhm.
Oh, he is. Hello,
Is
Charlie.
it something seriously or just
Yes, it's seriously. We have problem with почки.
Kid
How it's in English?
kidney.
Kidney,
hmm
kidney. Yes, we have problem with kidney, and we continue our therapy, and I think I pray, yes, that it is help him. But if it is not help, we will need do operation.
hmm
Операция так и будет, operation.
Operation
Mm-hmm.
or surgery. Often people will say
Mm-hmm. Mm.
so? I hope
surgery.
it will help.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Is it very expensive to pay for some operation for a dog in Russia?
Um, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
But I think it's expensive. I think because all for dog, for cats, it's expensive in Moscow. Yes, more
Okay.
expensive э, чем людям. Как это сказать?
Then
Then
more expensive than for
More
people.
more expensive than people. Yes,
hmm
yeah, in Germany the same. Yes.
the same.
Very expensive. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Because
states as
you
well.
yeah.
Yeah. Typically, pet care is extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Medicine is really expensive. Any surgeries or
Yeah.
anything like that is expensive. Um, if you go on vacation and you need to leave your pet somewhere, you can usually leave them at vets, veterinarians. They'll have places to take care of dogs,
Mm.
but
Mm-hmm.
that's also typically expensive. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's very expensive. Charlie, you're very expensive.
what breed is your dog?
What?
What breed? Paroda.
Порода.
Порода Йоркширский терьер.
Yorkshire Terrier.
Yorkshire Terrier.
hmm Very small dog.
Small, yes. 3 kilograms.
And how old?
Mm.
He is 4 years old.
Okay, not so old now.
No,
Yeah.
he's very young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Natalia, do you have any pets?
Yes, I have a cat, but 2 years ago I moved to Frankfurt, and I didn't have anything, so I didn't have apartment or house, and I decided to leave my cat with my parents. And now 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years later, she's like in a paradise,
Mm.
because my parents, I don't know, they give everything like a how can I say it in English? I forgot it in Russian.
You can try German, but I don't know if I'll understand.
Enkelkinder, so children from like my children from my
Uh-huh.
parents. You know how
hmm
was it called? How called in
They
Russian?
treat them like children, maybe.
No. Эм, Настя, мои дети, моим
Мгм.
родителям кто?
А внуки?
Parents.
А,
Внуки,
внуки.
внуки.
Yeah.
Grandkids.
Yes, grandkids.
Grandkids.
Yes.
Ага.
So she is like a grandkid for my parents. So she's like in a paradise now. And yeah, I have an apartment here, but I live in a center of Frankfurt, and she cannot outside, and it is not really a nice life for her.
hmm
So I think it is better for if she stay with my parents.
Do most people in Germany live in apartments or houses?
It depends. If you live like in a baumholder, like my parents, they try to build a house. And if, like me in Frankfurt, a house is very expensive, so I cannot pay it. I cannot build a house. Yeah, I have an apartment. I rent an apartment, so I don't even buy. I cannot
hmm
even buy an apartment here in Frankfurt because it's really very
hmm
expensive. Really very expensive. So yeah, and my parents they have a house, so she can go in the garden, and yeah, and it's here. Here it's not possible because I also yeah, I don't have even a balcony.
Balcony.
Welcome.
Balcony. Yes,
hmm
so it's not nice.
Are German apartments big or small, generally?
Uh, uh, it depends how. How
Money.
yes.
hmm
I was searching for a small one because I thought, okay, I'm alone. I don't need a big apartment. And I was searching for something like about 40 square meter.
hmm
And now I have 65, I think, and I
hmm
pay the same. It is also in Frankfurt here. It depends on which part of city you have an apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, now I have 65, and I pay the same price for
Um,
my apartment.
what's the most expensive city in Germany to live in? Is it Frankfurt?
I think Berlin,
München.
Berlin?
Berlin.
Berlin, yeah,
hmm
and yeah, Munich, in
Munich.
Munich, yeah,
Munich.
hmm
yes, Berlin, Munich, yeah.
Because in Russia, I think Moscow is probably the most expensive, and then maybe St. Petersburg. Um,
I think the price is the same. I
mhm,
think, but I don't know. What about St. Petersburg? I don't know.
mhm.
But in Moscow, yes, it's expensive, but not much expensive than maybe in New York City.
Yeah,
Of
in
course.
the U.S., I would say the most expensive is probably New York
Yes.
or
Yes.
San Francisco, and then the third would be L.A.
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe Chicago or Seattle. Um, those are probably the most expensive places. New York and California have much higher taxes than some other
Mm.
states. For example, Texas, where I'm from, has generally quite low taxes. Um, Texas sales tax is 8%.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Germany it's probably something like 20.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know,
19.
19. Yeah,
Yes.
so quite a lot higher. In California, I think it's around 11, 11 to 12. I'm not sure what New York's is, but New York is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I could have an apartment for 400 euro in month. Yeah, but it's then I have to drive for 1-2 hours to my work,
yeah,
and now I have only 10 minutes to walk.
yeah, it's a
but
lot
I,
nicer.
but I pay 800 euro.
But
Yeah,
it's more
it's
convenient.
really it's really yeah.
But
But I,
you You don't spend money on gas or time on a train.
Yeah, that was I had to think. At that time, I thought, okay, for me, it's better to maybe to rent an apartment nearby my work, and then I have more free time. Okay, I pay more, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Natasha,
easy? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Anastasia, go ahead.
what about Natasha? What about your job? You have new job, I think. No.
Yes. I got a yes from Aachen, so I can change my work.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have now. I don't have something official, but I think I will get it this week. I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
And 1st of July, I can start in Aachen. So the next 2-3 months, I have to plan my move.
And Aachen's a different city, right?
Yes, it is. It is nearby Belgium,
Mm-hmm.
and from here, I think 3 hours to drive. Yeah.
It's not
I don't
not too
understand
bad.
what is it, Belgium? What is it?
Belgium is
What? What?
Belgium, right?
Бельгия.
Бельгия.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Все,
Yeah.
я не понимаю, думаю,
Yeah.
что же это такое? Всё, не, я
Yes.
понимаю, что это город, я думала город, просто на
Не.
произношение.
Страна.
Yeah. It's
Бельгия.
next
Is a country.
between Germany and the Netherlands.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it easy to move in Germany or is it difficult?
It is not like in America because I I am from Baumholder, and in Baumholder we have a American base, and I know from American people it is really like I'm going to move, and they do it next day. They do it. You know, it is really strange for us. For European people, it's really strange because
Yes.
we are going to plan it for months, for
People will
years.
people will live in one house for 4 generations.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Before I turned 18, I lived in 5 different houses in 2 countries.
That's crazy. I don't know. So also my boyfriend to say he says I don't know how they do it. This is like it's just normal for American people. It's
We don't
just
like moving. It's not fun. It's a lot of work, but
it's for you it is, I think is easier for us. We think a lot about it.
Yes.
it's
About
I would say Americans think a lot about it, maybe just faster. Generally, the kind of American dream is to get your own house, which generally means moving into suburbs and out of the city. Most people don't live in cities, they live in suburbs, so kind of small cities surrounding a big city. For example, I say I'm from Dallas, but I've never lived in Dallas. I've only lived in suburbs. I've lived in, I think, three different suburbs, maybe 4. The only time I ever lived in an apartment was when I was in university. So for 3 years there, my parents rented me an apartment, so I didn't have to live in the dorm. But our apartment was pretty big for 2 people. I think it was maybe 100 square meters. But I'm really bad with square feet and square meters, so I don't remember. I think it was around 90 to 100 square meters for about $1,000 a month. So like maybe 900 euros.
yeah.
But it's what people laugh when I call it a small city. It's a city of about 150,000 people, which for me is a small city.
Yeah. Very, very small.
But I'm from a city of 6.5 million people, so 150,000
That,
is a lot smaller.
yes.
Um, but I've kind of always lived in houses, so I much prefer houses to apartments. Although I don't expect to get my own house anytime soon. Houses are very expensive, so most people start out living in apartments, and then they get a house when they can. But a very common thing is to sell your house to get a new house, to kind of move into a larger house or into a smaller house if you like when your kids leave, because typically in the US, at least traditionally, maybe not so much anymore,
Mm-hmm.
after high school kids would move out, they would go start their own lives, although now it's much more difficult with the economy. So sometimes parents would sell their house to get a smaller house because they don't need all the space. So not to waste time cleaning it, or larger house will have more land, which means more taxes.
Okay.
Um,
But how long or how easy is it to buy a house in America? Because I hear in Germany it is really terrible because you need this paper and you need this paper and you need this. Germany is like you need
mhm.
for everything a paper and you need for everything yes, and you need it is really difficult. And in America I hear you can buy a house
uh,
in 1 week, something like that.
I think probably you can. There's people that are called realtors that
Yeah.
help buying and selling houses.
Okay.
I'm not really sure all the legal document side to buying a house because I've never bought a house. There are some interesting things, such as selling a house and getting money for selling a house counts as receiving income, which means it's taxed.
Mm.
But if you sell a house and you use that money to either pay off a mortgage or to buy a new house or both, then it's not income because
Mm.
it gets reinvested into the economy, so it does not get taxed, which is what most people do. Um, Most people do not just buy a house; they get mortgages, um, which is when you pay for a house a certain amount of money every month for, I think, usually 30 years, 20 to 30 years.
Like in Germany the same. Yeah.
But very rarely do people pay off a mortgage. They usually move before they finish. Um, People move into a new house for a lot of different reasons. A very common reason is for schools. Um, so public schools have what are called districts, which are it's like an area where they work. So
Mm.
if you live in a certain neighborhood, your kids go to a certain school. But maybe um, like 1 or 2 kilometers to the west is a different district, and the schools there are better. So sometimes people will move if they can,
Mm.
just a couple of kilometers to get a better school district, so their kids have better schools.
Okay.
Otherwise, people move for work usually. So if you
Yeah,
get a
it's
new job that's 50 kilometers away, but it's still in the same city because American cities are fun, you'll probably move.
yeah, that's also the reason because in Baumholder there are a lot of soldiers and
Mm-hmm.
they moved really all, I think every 6 months they have to move, or at least 1 year, 3 years.
Mm.
And that's why I think for a lot of people it is not really a problem to move from Germany to America, from America
Mm-hmm.
to Jap to China to I don't know. Just really, I have some friends. They are moving all 3 years in other country, and it's really yeah. I think we European people we think too much. I don't know.
Maybe
I guess I start to worry now already. I get a message
it's just
last week, and
the American freedom. the desire to move to a new place, to keep going west. You said there are American bases, American military bases.
Yes.
I did not know we still had soldiers in Germany, to be honest.
No more a lot. You know Rammstein?
I know it's a band. I don't know
Yes,
if
but
it's
it
a
is
city.
but it is a city. It's a big,
Okay.
not a big city, but it is a really American-based city, which also airport.
Airport.
Yeah, American airport, special for soldiers. So in a Baumholder we have now not that much than maybe 10 years ago. But yes, we still have some soldiers in Baumholder. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I know we still have soldiers in Japan. I don't know where else, other than the Middle East. But it's not the most fun topic. I don't think. Anastasia, have you ever moved? Ever wanted to move?
Yes, I moved from Ukraine to Russia to Moscow one time. Yes, when I was a child. That's all.
How old were you?
Now?
How old were you when you moved?
I was 10 or 11. Yes.
Do you remember moving then?
Yes, I remember it. It was by car. It was two cars, and yes, we moved with my granny, with the uncle, and my sister and the dog. Yes, it was very funny.
Now, why did you move?
Because my parents in Moscow время they change their job and here was good условия
Conditions.
conditions, yes, and we moved, yes. And it one time, but I don't know. I think I'm not for this. It's not for me a move. But I like travel, and I travel in year maybe 5 or 6 times. But move it's very very difficult. Yes, because
very,
I'm Russian.
For us, it's very stressful to move. To have to move all of your things, to have to find a new place, to sell your old place, making sure that you sell your house
Yes.
and you buy your house at the same time, or else you're homeless. My mom recently moved back to her hometown when she retired, and I think she lived in a hotel for about a month because she sold her house sold faster than she expected, and she hadn't finished buying her new house yet. So she lived in the hotel for a few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember if I told you or not. When I was from ages of, for me, 4 to about 8, I lived in Japan with my parents because my dad's work took us there. And when my parents got divorced, so my mom and I came back before my 8th birthday, and we lived in a hotel for about a month while we were looking for a house. So It
No.
happens. It's not very fun living in a hotel room. It's quite expensive, but
Yeah, you think
Do you
it is.
like live in Japan?
um, I don't remember much. Um,
Mm.
I don't particularly like Japanese culture, having lived
Mm-hmm.
there, because it's so different. It's very difficult, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Russian and American culture are different, but not as different as something like Japan or China. It's
Mm-hmm.
very different people, very different mentalities. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yes.
maybe the most similar
But
peoples to Americans or
Japan, my.
Canadians. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
But
have a question?
I want go to Japan very much.
It's
It's my dream.
it's a nice place, I think, to visit as a tourist.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think as a foreigner, it's not very comfortable to live there.
And which city did you live?
We lived in Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's my dream.
It's a very, very big city.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 12. I think it's about as big as Moscow. Um, maybe bigger.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Cool.
Um, what's the biggest city in Germany? Is it Berlin?
Yeah, I think it's Berlin. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Maybe Munich.
Mm.
I guess it is Berlin, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
And German, you say Munich? Is that right?
Munich.
Munich.
Because
Munich.
English
In
people
In
usually.
German we say München.
That's right.
München.
München.
Like in Russian,
Or yeah,
yes?
it is München. Yeah.
München.
But in Russian you say, for example, to Hamburg, Gamburg.
Hamburg, yes.
Say
It's
Hamburg.
like hamburger.
Yeah.
Hamburger.
Gamburger.
Yeah.
Yeah. or
Where do you live? In
Hannover.
Hamburger.
Gannover. Yeah.
Hannover.
Hanover.
Gannover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is Vienna in German?
What is what?
Vienna in Austria.
I
What? I
and
don't understand.
attend the question.
Mhm.
Yes. Scott say it in
In
Russian.
English, we say Vienna, which I know is wrong.
Vienna, да.
Ah, Vienna.
Wien. Wien.
Wien.
Wien.
Wien.
In
I
German,
had a
Wien?
You mean the main city of Austria?
Austria.
No? Yes, Wien. Wien. We say Wien. Wien.
One of
Yeah.
my friends in high school, his last name was this, which I think is Wien in German. His last name we said Win.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. This. I don't like German language because it's so hard. So like jawohl.
Jawohl.
And the mix of Russian and German, it's yeah, sometimes it really sounds really hard.
Mix English and Russian. It's very. It's very funny. When I was in New York, I have a friend, and her granny. She speak mix Russian and English. It's very funny.
It's the same for us, because after 23 years, sometimes I have to think about how can I say it in Russian. It is not like, yeah. And if I speak with my parents, there's always like a mix. Because my parents don't speak only German. They do it only if I'm visit them with my boyfriend, and they speak. Most of the time, we speak Russian. But for us, for children, it is difficult because now my mother language is more German, I would say that. And sometimes we just really speak like мы поедем на Bahnhof. And that's mean train station. And I don't know how can I say it so really quickly in Russian. So and we speak always like yeah, because everybody knows she or he will understand me. And as I visited this first time, I went to Moscow. It was really difficult for me to speak only Russian.
Only Russian.
Yes, but most of the people they didn't believe me that I live now for 23 years already in Germany because they told me I don't have any accent in Russian. But I cannot believe it because my Russian is really not that good.
In English.
I like your Russian.
Yeah, I don't speak a lot. That's why you like my Russian. Yeah, so but sometimes it is really difficult because I stopped to learn the language with my 12 years. Yeah, but
Because all time you speak only one language. Yes, of course.
yes, for example, today I spoke only German, so no one word in Russian. And sometimes if I visit my parents, yes, but I try to watch a TV and TV shows so I can learn more and more because the basic is I have the basic and yeah, I try to keep learning.
And which language do you speak with, for example, Lena or your brother?
Also the
In
mix,
German?
always a mix.
Mix? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always a mix. If I really with my brother and Lena and my parents and then we speak really only mix because everybody can understand me even if I speak Russian or German or mix. So it doesn't matter. Everybody understands me, and that's why I find it sometimes really good if I have only Russian friends or I have to speak only with my Russian friends because then I start to think. I cannot use a lot of German words, so and that is something really what I like. Yeah. Or like yeah, now I know okay if I don't know something I can ask it in Russian, but I cannot do it in with my boyfriend, for example. So then I have to translate. Yeah, because
But it's good for your mind.
yes. He told me the same because he said now if you because now I work in my at my job for 15 years almost, and for me it's everything is routine, you know. And now I started to learn a new language, and now I start to use my brain. No, that's but yeah, you know what I mean.
It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's a very similar situation in the U.S., or what we call Spanglish, which is a mix of Spanish and English. A lot of immigrants, mostly Mexican immigrants, but I guess as any South American immigrants, so they don't always have the best English, so they'll use Spanish words too. Or it's usually that way. Or sometimes their kids, or maybe with their parents, will do that. They'll use some English words instead of Spanish words.
Yeah, that's the
I
same
met
for us.
one guy in Moscow from the Netherlands, and he was telling me that sometimes back home people will just use random English words in their sentences instead of the Dutch words. Because I guess it's popular. I don't know. To me, that's really weird.
I can say so. My boyfriend. Sometimes I think it is. He speaks with me English, and sometimes I think he used some Dutch words, and he think it isn't English. It is the English word because Dutch is like German and English. Something. It's
Hmm.
like a mix. They used a lot of
Yeah.
English words. Yeah. And I say,
It's
no, I
supposed
don't
to
know.
be Dutch is supposed to be one of the easiest languages for English speakers.
Yes, you told me. Level 1?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. But he also speaks French. Yeah, and English. Business English.
You said he's from Belgium, right?
Yes, he is from
Or is
Belgium.
he? Yeah. And then he must be from the. You said the Flemish part
Yes, in the Flemish
or
part,
the
yeah.
French?
No, in the Flemish part.
It's like that's the weird part, right?
I don't know. I don't, but yeah, I will see. No,
You're
I
like
don't know. I don't
all
know.
of.
But French people in the French part, nobody speaks Dutch.
Hmm.
A lot of people speaks really only French, and nobody speaks English. That is weird. That is weird,
Hmm.
because in a Flemish part, I can even in a shop I can speak English, so everybody understands me, and yeah, if I need something, it's not a problem. But in the German part and the French part, it is really, yeah, it's like in a village,
Yeah.
because the people know only own language, and this French. Yeah.
Which parts are the big cities in? Is it mostly the Flemish part?
Yes. Brussels.
Hmm.
He lives nearby
And
Brussels,
Antwerp?
Antwerp. Yes,
Yeah.
Brussels and Antwerp. We have to drive. He lives in a Mechelen, it's a
Hmm.
city, and to Brussels we have to drive 20 minutes. To Antwerp we have to drive 20 minutes. Last time we visited Bruges,
Hmm.
I think in English
Bruges.
Bruges.
I have no idea.
No,
I don't know
it's a very
anything
famous
about
city in
Belgium.
Belgium. It's very famous, really.
Yeah.
It is like second main city, and it took 1 hour, I think. It's really in the middle of Belgium. Yeah, in Flemish part. Yes, very nice. It was very nice.
I find that a lot of those very small European countries very strange. Is for me, the next biggest city was probably a 3 hour drive.
Mm.
Austin is a 3 hour drive from Dallas. Houston's about 4 hours. I'm not sure how far Oklahoma City is. I think about three or four. So,
Yeah, but Belgium is really small. It's a
so
small
small.
country.
Like the size of a city for us, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
something like that. Yeah, it's really small than Germany, and yeah, and he lives really in the middle of Belgium, so we really have to drive only 1 hour there, 1 hour and a half. We are in the Netherlands, and yeah, it's really cool.
so does
Is
he?
it far from you, from Frankfurt,
From Frankfurt, yes,
Belgium?
yes. He has to drive always something about 5 hours, 5:30.
5 hours.
Yeah, and
It's not
that's
far.
why.
Yeah, for me that's not that far either.
No, but for us, for European
Yeah,
people, it is really far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. And if you have to drive alone, it is really boring.
I once drove from the city I studied in was Waco. It's
Mm.
the what I call the small city where I studied in university. So one day I drove to Houston and back, and that was about a
Oh,
three to
Houston.
three
Yeah.
3 hour drive, one direction. So I drove about 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah, but it is just really annoyed if you have to drive on Friday 5.5 hours to Frankfurt, and then on Sunday you have to drive back. It is really 10 hours, and you don't have anything. Not really a lot of time on a weekend, because most of the
Traffic.
time
Yeah.
you are in a car, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is the drive
But yeah,
interesting? At least, are there things to look
no,
at?
that no,
Just
not really.
trees.
No, just yeah, just trees and
It's
just
better than Texas. Then there's
only
no trees.
straight. You know, if you, yeah. I have always to take a train,
Yeah.
train or bus. For me, it's nice to take a plane
Yeah.
because it is only 30 minutes in the air, and
Yeah.
I'm there. It's really cool. Yeah.
People sometimes fly from Dallas to Houston, which is about a 30-minute flight in total. The plane never even gets to like a maximum altitude because it already has to descend. Um, I know I've heard at least that sometimes people would live, for example, in Dallas but work in Houston.
Mm.
So like Monday morning they'll fly to Houston and stay in a hotel or have an apartment, and then on Friday they fly home for the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is very strange. But
A lot of people do it from Brussels to Frankfurt. That's why I
mhm,
said I can take and a train is more expensive than a flight to
mhm,
Brussels because for the
Mm-hmm.
fly I pay only €50.
it's not bad.
Uh, no, €100 in total. But for the train, I have to pay something about €200. So it's yeah.
It's not too bad if you don't mind flying.
No, for me it's better. I like it. So
Do you like the Frankfurt airport?
yes.
I don't.
Why?
Is confusing for me.
Um, I'm honest. In the beginning, as I started to fly, it was for me. It seems like very big. I thought, oh
Mm-hmm.
my god! And now I'm like at home. I don't know. I know
Like
Terminal One, Terminal Two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I liked Frankfurt Airport too
Maybe
very much.
I've flown through Frankfurt um, 2 or 3 times.
Mm.
So we'd always I think I flew into like Terminal 2, and then I'd have to leave Terminal 2, go through security, go through immigration, and then go back to Terminal 1, something like that, because I would fly from Dallas to Frankfurt and then Frankfurt to Moscow. So I'd have to do immigration 2 times, which was annoying, and
I
having to
think you.
go through
I
security
yeah,
again.
yeah. I think you started with Terminal One because Terminal Two is for long distance um, flying. So I think you started with Terminal One and then.
Yeah. And then having to take the train.
In Germany.
No, in Frankfurt, in the airport.
Ah, okay.
Hmm.
Because I always had to change terminals. But I think when we fly back, we're planning on flying through New York. So just one time immigration.
Mm. Yes.
In last year I've flew to I was in Prague.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, Prague,
Prague, yeah, that's correct.
Prague. I was in Prague and I had пересадка забыла.
50.
Пересадка.
Пересадка.
One stop.
Layover.
Layover.
Mm-hmm. I'll write it in the chat.
Layover. I
Mm-hmm.
had layover. I had layover in Frankfurt, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm late for a fly because in Frankfurt because security. I don't like security, maybe, and yes, I lost my fly.
Ah,
It
you are too
was
late
very
for your connection flight. For your.
yes,
Okay.
yes, to
That's
Prague.
that's very unfortunate.
Mm.
Yes.
But I liked airport, Frankfurt.
Yeah.
I had much time and
Yeah,
Познакомиться.
maybe too much time.
yes, much time.
So,
Yeah,
and
too much time.
how long have you been in in the airport?
I was there 5 hours.
So see, now you know what it means,
Yes,
Frankfurt Airport.
yes, and because I know this, I liked. Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
some German people are very unfriendly, but I think
I found the police in the Frankfurt airport to be very intimidating with the very large guns. I it's not something I expected.
okay.
No, it's happened. It's happened because I forgot in my bag water. I forgot
Mm,
really, and they see. They saw it, and they had many questions for me. But I said I'm really forgot people. I forgot,
People, I
but
forgot.
yes, guys.
Yeah, I think
But
it depends from which country you are in Germany, you know. And that is what I really I find it something really sad because they make so much different. If you are German, if you are from I don't know from America, you
from America.
yes for example I don't know
it's
which
probably true.
countries.
People usually
Yeah,
treat Americans fairly well.
yes, that is something what I really find not okay. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like American immigration kind of treats everyone poorly. I don't like American immigration. I'm always scared that they won't let me home because I don't know what they're going to say. Um, but a lot of American immigration is automated now. So they're like kiosks, at least for citizens. I've never gone to the US as not an American, so I don't know what that's like.
Oh, I was afraid, really. I don't know because I heard a lot. I heard a lot in my first time to America because I said I will never go to America. I don't like it. I don't know why. Maybe in my heart I'm a little bit too Russian. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my father. So on the first time I went to America, we visited Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really afraid because I heard before really a lot that people can say to you no, and and they don't have to say why, you know.
Yeah.
So just no, you cannot go to our country. So oh my god, I
Yeah.
thought okay, now I have to pay my holiday, and then they can say no to me. How is it possible? But yeah, it was okay. Everything was okay, and the people was really kind, so really nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Do
Yes.
do Europeans need a visa to go to the US?
Yeah, no, I need ESTA. It's called ESTA,
Mm-hmm.
and
Esta.
yes, I got it. So me, like me, German people and
Mm-hmm.
Belgian people don't need a visum. I got it ESTA, and I paid something about 18 euro, and I got it. So I did it today, and next day I had it. So and
Mm-hmm.
some
What
people
is it,
like,
Esta? What is it, Esta?
oh yes, a good question. I don't know. I know it's called ESTA.
I'm not sure.
It's like a card. It's card.
No, just like a tourist visum. Like if you travel to Max,
Easy, easy visa.
I think so. Yes, I think like yeah, if I travel to Cuba, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a visum, but I will get a visum on an airport, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a tourist visum. So I think this is something like that for me. And I now I have it for for 1 year, and you get it for 2 years normally. Normally for 2 years, yeah.
In
It's very
the
cool.
in the past year, I went to Finland and Ireland, and we don't need to apply for a visa. They just kind of put a stamp in your passport that says you can stay for 90 days. But I don't think it's free. So.
Yeah, the same for us. Yes, 90 days is maximum what you can do. And I have a friend. She is from Croatia, and she, for example, she needs a visa, and it's
She need
take
visa?
yes,
Is
and then she
Croatia not in the EU?
yes. No, I don't think it's not because not in the EU. It is because of the some countries are in the blacklist.
So it's probably because of Serbia.
Yes. Yeah. I think so. Yes. Because it's Serbian, it's everything is yeah. Yeah.
Yep. There's, I know that the easiest country for us is Canada. It's no visa, and I don't think anything. You can just kind of drive across. Before 9/11, you didn't need a passport to go to Canada. You could just go. The border was basically just open. But within, I think, the last 10 years, you need a passport now. But you don't need a visa. You just need a passport. But
so even in Baumholder, Scott, for 9/11, we didn't need anything. We could visit the American base just. Yeah, it's like everything is Baumholder, it's one city. And now you need something like ID card so that you can go to the American base.
Yeah.
Even for the people they work there, they need something like ID card. Yeah.
I was young when 9/11 happened, but I remember it.
I saw it
second grade.
live. I saw it live in TV.
I was driving to school with my mom when it happened. All I knew was that school was canceled and something happened, but I didn't really understand what happened. But I kind of knew it was serious.
Yes, the same for me. Because I worked at the time, I worked in an American base. I was clean lady, clean lady in the school. I worked for my driver license, and I was finished with my work, and I went out, and I see a lot of police, and I think, okay, something is wrong. And I went home, and I saw it on TV. Yeah,
it happened, I think, like 8 a.m. Eastern, maybe something 8:30 in the morning. So that would be for Germany, like
it was in my
three
yes,
or something.
3 o'clock. Yes, because it was really always. I know it. I started always at 3 o'clock, and I went home at 4 o'clock, and I thought something is wrong, because I saw a lot of military police, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're about out of time, but it was nice speaking with both of you for this hour. It's a little sad that the others weren't able to join us.
Better for us.
Better for you guys.
Yes.
Got more practice, more time. So thank you for talking with me for an hour.
Thank
you for lesson.
Yeah, and
Thank you very
guess
much.
I will see you guys in about 2 weeks.
Thank you. It was nice as
Thank
always.
you, Scott.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Natalia. Bye
Ciao,
bye.
nice job. Bye-bye.